signing off, and I'll see you guys later. Take care. Hey everybody, it's me as always, your host Gambit896, and I'm back with another video for you guys. Today I'm going to be reviewing Fatale, Volume 1, Death Chased Me. This is written by Ed Brubaker and illustrated by Sean Phillips, and as you can see from the spine, this is published by Image Comics, and this first trade collects the first 5 issues of the series. The series is a noir, supernatural, occult horror mystery, so if any of you are interested in any of those things, I definitely recommend you check out this series, but I'll get more onto that at the end of this review. So we open up with the character of Nicholas Lash, who is attending the funeral of his godfather, Dominic Raines, and we also see that he meets this mysterious woman called Josephine, who also attends the funeral and says that apparently her grandmother and Dominic Raines were a couple at one point during their lives, and this then sends Nicholas back to Dominic Raines' estate in the hopes to find some answers as to why his godfather was such a secretive and secluded individual, so it seems, in the later years of his life. And then things go really downhill for Nicholas Lash, even in these first few pages, as he's paid a visit by these mysterious bowler hat and trench coat clad individuals, which then there's a brief action scene where Josephine shows up and saves Nicholas in this page, as you can see here, and there's a brief chase scene during which, in the aftermath, Nicholas Lash wakes up 5 days later in a San Francisco hospital, and he's still determined to find out what secrets his godfather was keeping from, well, everybody during the last few years of his life. We then flash back to San Francisco in the mid-1950s, and we pick up with our mysterious woman Josephine once again, who's meeting with this journalist, Hank Raines, who is running a story, and he's using Josephine as a source. The story involves his attempt at exposing 2 corrupt police officers within the San Francisco Police Department, and he believes that Josephine has the answers he's looking for, and she also has her own motivations as to why she wants to bring one of these 2 corrupt police officers down. And we then meet our 2 corrupt cops who are working a occultistic murder, as you can see there. And we find out that one of these police officers, Walter Booker, who we can see in the beige fedora and beige overcoat, has some ties to Josephine which go all the way back to World War II, as we can see here from this brief flashback scene, during which this is apparently the first meeting between Walter Booker and Josephine, as you can see there. And so there's two intertwining stories going on. Like I said, we have what seems to be the present day storyline with Nicholas Lash, and we also have the story in the past with Josephine in Chicago in the mid-1950s. And over the course of the book, we see how Hank's life essentially spins out of control from this meeting with Josephine, and how it affects not only his personal life but his family life as well, and ultimately leads to some grisly and disastrous events in his life. And as you can see from this page here, the more time Hank spends with Josephine, the more he's essentially falling head over heels for her, and this, like I said, has some really disastrous effects on his home life, as well as really messing up his professional life as well, and also the relationship that he has with his best friend, who is a photographer that Hank works with at the local newspaper that he works for. We then meet our antagonist of the series, a Mr. Bishop, who is a character of the demonic variety, as you can see from the colour of his eyes and the tongue that he has when he's putting that cigar to his mouth in this top panel. I really like the artwork in this by Sean Phillips. His artwork is always great. Admittedly, the only other work of Sean Phillips as an artist that I've seen is another collaboration that he did with Ed Brubaker, who also did the writing duties as well, and that was their Criminal series, which is kind of a heist crime series, which if you haven't checked out, I highly recommend you do so. You may also know these two gentlemen from other series they've worked on together, such as Sleeper and Incognito as well. So, like I said, we see these two intertwining stories and how they play out, and we also see that Josephine tries to tell Hank Raines that she's not the girl she appears to be, and she tries to explain to him by taking her back to a place which has some pretty horrific memories, as it's implied through the writing from Brubaker, when Josephine was well, it's implied that she might have stayed at the house that I just showed you in the artwork years ago, and it'll be interesting to see if that plays out later on in the later issue of the series. And then we have more of the noirish aspects coming into play as well as a brief flashback sequence of Walter Booker's childhood, as you can see there, and some of the things that he was able to see as a child, which he tried to explain to his mother, but ultimately she she couldn't see the things he saw, so she didn't believe him. And then we get, in the final issue of the series, we see some of our more occult aspects of the story, as you can see by these red hooded individuals here and here. And we also see that there's occult magics in this Fatale universe as well, which is pretty interesting, from various magic symbols that we see throughout these first 5 issues. And there's a lot of great action scenes in the final issue, where the action really does pick up, and we see some character stories that are ended, some which are apparently ended, which may or may not be, and I'm going to leave it up to you guys to pick up this series and read it, and to find out the rest. The ending to this first story arc is pretty creepy and pretty weird, but I'm really interested in seeing where this story goes, as I've heard nothing but great things about the later issues of the series. I'll just briefly show you the cover gallery, which we get the original series covers, which are also illustrated by Sean Phillips, and then I'll give you my general thoughts on this first story arc. So we have the cover to issue 1, as you can see there. It's probably my second favourite in comparison with issue number 2, which really is a illustration of the noirish aspects of this storyline, as you can see there. Issue number 3, or the cover to issue 3 I should say. Pretty creepy cover there to issue number 4. And then the final cover to issue number 5, as you can see there. I have to say, if you're a fan of Ed Brubaker, and if you're a fan of the Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips other collaborations on various other series that these two gentlemen have done, I definitely recommend you should check out this series. If you're a fan of noirish stories with horror and supernatural elements, I definitely think Fatale is a series that you should definitely check out. I'm really interested in seeing just who or what Josephine actually is, as it appears that she hasn't aged a day even since the flashback scene in which we see her in the during World War II and the present day storyline, like I said. And I'm really interested in seeing, you know, well, I'm interested in seeing where the story goes. If I had to give this a rating, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. It's a really strong opening story arc, and I'm really interested in seeing where the story goes. Both the writing and the artwork from Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips are really solid. That's about all I have to say, really. So that was my review of Fatale Volume 1, Death Chase Me, for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. But as always, as I say, try to give me a reason below in the comments, or send me a private message telling me why you didn't like the video. As always, feel free to leave some comments below as well. And if you're new, or if this is your first time checking out one of my videos and you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe. And until next time, this is Gambit896 signing off, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.